On the early morning of July 13, 2020, a completely burned body was found by a group of people in a wooded area in Michigan. The body was identified as Susie Zhao, a 33-year-old Chinese immigrant who had moved to the United States when she was young. Susie was a rising poker star, having already won more than $200,000 in tournaments, which initially led the police to theorize that she had been a victim of a crime due to a debt. However, the truth was far more sinister. Susie Zhao was born on June 9, 1987, in Beijing, China. When she was just 8 years old, she immigrated to the United States with her mother. The family settled in Michigan. From a young age, Susie loved games. In high school, she learned a card game that changed the course of her life: poker. She got better and better as she played. Susie and her friends used to play in the basement of their apartment complex, betting on small things like cards and lunch money. Susie took poker very seriously. She was intelligent and had a real aptitude for games, especially in mathematics, which is crucial for poker. She was also excellent at bluffing and deceiving her opponents. As time went by, Susie became known for her poker talent, earning the nickname Poker Face. It seemed like Susie was living the true American dream. However, behind this brilliant poker player was something she tried to hide. Susie had been diagnosed with schizophrenia, which was significantly affecting her life. In 2010, after graduating from Northwestern University with a degree in psychology, she moved to Los Angeles to pursue her dream of becoming a professional poker player. Up until then, Susie had only participated in local tournaments. For the next 10 years, Susie played cash games at local casinos and frequently traveled to Las Vegas for tournaments. By then, she had already won over $200,000 from poker. It wasn't enough for a luxurious life, but it paid the bills. Despite being surrounded by friends, Susie never expressed her true feelings. Few knew about her mental condition. Although her friends noticed she was becoming increasingly quiet and withdrawn, they were unaware of her challenges. Her parents, however, knew about her condition and tried to support her as best they could. In a later statement, Susie's mother revealed that Susie had been diagnosed with schizophrenia years ago, but Susie did not want to accept her condition, hindering her treatment. In 2015, Susie's mother and stepfather attempted to forcibly admit her through a court order, but Susie escaped hospitalization. Another attempt was made in 2018, but again, Susie refused treatment. By 2020, Susie was experiencing active symptoms of psychosis but still remained in denial about her condition. A longtime friend, Michelle Leroux, said Susie called her out of the blue a few days before the crime. They arranged to spend the second weekend in July together. When they met, Michelle noticed that Susie was different and acted strangely. On July 11th, Susie asked to borrow Michelle's car. Concerned, Michelle made an excuse not to lend it, but Susie secretly took the car keys and left. Susie returned the next morning, but her behavior was erratic, which frightened Michelle, who was unaware of Susie's condition. Michelle called Susie's mother, who picked her up and took her home. Later that evening, Susie's stepfather and mother went out to dinner. When they returned, Susie was gone. This was the last time Susie was seen alive by her mother. It was later discovered that Susie had met Jeffrey Bernard Morris, a man with a long criminal record. On July 12th, Jeffrey convinced Susie to meet him. Security camera footage showed them checking into the Sherwood Motel at 9:26 p.m. After entering the motel room, Jeffrey attacked Susie, leaving her unconscious. He then drove her to a wooded area, poured gasoline on her, and set her on fire while she was still alive. Susie's body was found the next morning by a group of people. Her identification was only possible through her fingerprints. Detectives initially thought the motive was a gambling debt, but the cruelty of the crime led them to Jeffrey Morris. He was arrested 10 days later, found with Susie's cell phone. Jeffrey claimed innocence, but evidence, including security footage and items found at the crime scene, pointed to him. Jeffrey had premeditated the crime and taken advantage of Susie's mental vulnerability. Jeffrey Morris went to trial on November 10, 2022, and was found guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. It's tragic that Susie hid her condition and did not accept help. People like her are highly vulnerable, and when they cross paths with individuals like Jeffrey, tragedies happen. Well guys, that's it. Thank you for watching until the end. I'll stop here. A big hug, and see you next time.